another important question to ask yourself is, what are the things that you do occasionally that you need to do more consistently? So those good things that you do occasionally that you need to do more consistently, because after all, if you want to move from where you are now, I mean, if you're feeling stuck, for example, and you want to move from there to a place where you're feeling that you're making progress, then you need to develop good habits. And those bad habits or that I've spoke about before are the things that you need to eliminate. And it may be that, for example, the things that you're trying to do, you might be trying, I don't know, get fit, for example, or eat healthy, or for me, I'll just give you a very brief example. When I first started working, not when I first started, but working on a remote basis, you don't have anybody there to tell you to drink some water or to, I don't know, get up and move around or stretch or whatever it may be. So I started to develop my own routine around that. So I, for example, put a red dot on my computer, and that every time I looked at that, it reminded me to have a drink of water. I set myself a schedule in my calendar so that I could get up and stretch and go for a walk. But I admit that there was times when I was lapsing on the drinking water, and also lapsing on the fitness and the physical stretching, the physical regime, to get myself moving and get myself mobile. So that was something that I knew I was doing, which was pretty good, the water and the stretching, but I needed to do it more consistently. So I had to think about how I could do that. And my wife, she also works from home. So now we go for a walk around the block together. We do stretching. We're thinking about joining the gym, I must say. So that's one or two good things that I know that I'm doing that I need to do more consistently, because especially with the stretching, that is something that really has an impact on me. It has an impact on my back. It has an impact on my neck. So, and when you're in that situation where you're feeling uncomfortable, that then impacts your ability to focus on your work, because I was focusing more on my pain and my sort of the stiffness that I was feeling, or the dehydration was kicking in. I was getting headaches. So you really need to think about those things that you're doing, which are good, which you need to do more consistently, so you can develop those habits. Start developing habits to fulfill your goals. It might be, I don't know, decluttering your house. It might be giving up smoking, eating healthily, as I said before, saving money. That's something I'm not very good at. But again, my wife, we both do that together, and we just start small and gradually build up incrementally and move from there. So that's something that I need to improve and do more consistently. It may be that you're applying for jobs and you're not hearing back from employers. You're sending out the CV, you push more and more and more and more, but you just basically feel like you're banging your head against a brick wall. So what you might need to do is change your CV, look at something, get some advice from somebody else, or get somebody else to look at it, and so you can begin to understand what it is that you're doing wrong. And instead of just applying to jobs on job boards, for example, you might reach out to directly to five potential employers each week, instead of just relying on one particular source. That's a good habit to develop. But I mean, there's much more detail to that, but you get what I mean. So yeah, being consistent is something that's really, it's really important, and you need to really be disciplined with yourself. You need to be really focused. You need to really be organized. So putting things, as I mentioned before, into a calendar, or at least developing some sort of pattern, so that you can be consistent with the things that you need to do. Find the best time of day as well to do those things. So again, back to the example of me and my wife. So we have 3 children. So we needed to develop a pattern which worked around our kids in order for us to get the movement and mobility and stretching that we needed in the day as we were working from home. So going for a walk, for example, when obviously they're at school, or when they are ideally not here, so we had to be deliberate about putting that into our daily calendar. So even things as simple as that can really help you. You really need to understand that sometimes as well, when you're trying to develop these routines, these patterns, or do these good things in inverted commas, they're not always going to work. So if it doesn't work, just try something different. Be open to doing things differently. Just because it doesn't work out doesn't mean you're a failure. You can learn lessons from failure and move forward and do things differently in order to get those habits in place. And routine, as much as I think there are people out there who don't necessarily like a routine or don't necessarily want to put things into a calendar. I think if you're working remotely, especially if you're working and you have kids, you have to have a routine. There has to be some sort of pattern. And I think, especially if you have a family, I think your kids are gonna appreciate that routine, because you know, and you're able to do the things, the priorities that you need to complete. Then you can make time within your routine for your kids. You get more of a balance. You're not going to have a perfect balance, like the work-life balance that lots of people talk about. But you have your own sort of your own version of balance by creating a routine that can help you to get done what needs to be done, and help you to then have the time to have that downtime that you need to be with your family. So yeah, really think about the habits that you need, the good habits that you have, that you need to continue and that you need to do more consistently. Work on those habits more, focus on those good things until they become almost second nature to you. But I'd urge you to, as I said, really think about that question that I posed at the beginning of this particular podcast. What are the things that you do occasionally that you need to do more consistently?